In this video, I'm going to show you 5 fun and simple ways that you can use to teach tonality and music to your students. Hi, my name is Julia from GU Teaching Resources, and I'm an experienced music teacher with over 20 years in the classroom. In this video, I'm going to show you some fun and simple ways that you can use to teach tonality to your music students. Tonality is an important element of music for all musicians to understand, so these ideas will help get them started on the right path. Simple lesson ideas to teach tonality and music. So welcome. As said, we're going to look at tonality today. So I'm going to give you 5 lesson ideas and some suggested resources to have a go with. So number 1, identify the tonality game. Now, before you start this game, what you're going to need to do is make sure that your students understand what is a consonant sounding piece of music and a dissonant one. Now, there's plenty of music out there, and depending on what you're studying in the classroom at the moment would be the music I suggest you use. So don't reinvent the wheel. But you also might want to, this is perfect to use when you're teaching. Teaching tonality is perfect with film music or movie music, because there's lots of ways that music is manipulated to make them create a mood, which is through tonality. Okay, so to play this game, what I normally do is we get the kids to make sure that they understand what's consonant or dissonant. Then to play, I get them to stand up, and consonant means this, dissonant means this. So play a piece of music. Okay, and the kids vote. All right, so if they get it correct, they stay standing. If they get it incorrect, they sit down, which is what happens. So, and then you obviously will get a winner. Now this is perfect to play at the beginning of a lesson or at the end of the lesson. It's a fun simple game, but I would suggest that you get yourself a good collection of music to play this with. Use Spotify, whatever else, just go through. Doesn't really matter what piece of music. Get them just to vote consonant or dissonant. But if you're looking for some really dissonant stuff, you might want to check out Schoenberg. He's got some really weird things out there. Okay, and there's a few 20th century, that tone row serialism, chance music, aleatoric music. Sounds a bit weird. So that's a good one to use for dissonance, but also movie music, as I said. Great way to, as I said, you can play it, you can do it as winners. And if you want to, so you don't get them to cheat, get the kids to close their eyes. Okay. I do this with both, with all year groups with my kids. Doesn't matter if they're in from junior years, from year 7 through to year 12. It's just a good way to get them understanding what is tonality in the music. Now this one, as of time of recording, so I'm recording this at the end of November in 2022. This is a great one this time of year. Let's face it, you've either done a concert, it's getting the end of the year, your kids are exhausted, you're exhausted, and if you want a nice simple lesson, this is the one to choose. So again, teaching film music, it's a perfect one to do. Play a variety of music and discuss the feeling of the music, okay, which again comes down to tonality and how the music, depending on what's in the music, how it actually feels and how that tonality and the mood of the music makes you feel. And it's a good way to talk about what makes the music sound brighter, what makes it sound sadder, what sounds happy, anxious, creepy, all those sorts of things. Then get your kids to choose a piece of music and put the music on and get them to draw. Now the best thing with this is if you don't tell them what movie, especially if you're doing movie one, where the music's from, and get them to do the drawings. Okay, chill, just piece of paper, colored pencils, pencil markers, whatever you want to call them, texters. Then at the end, get everyone to show what their drawing is, because there's no right or wrong answer, and be interesting to see what more closely matches what the actual movie is. It's a fun one to see what they come up with. I generally do this with my junior classes, my year 7s, and when I've taught year 8 as well, because it's a nice simple music. This would be my Friday fun day lesson. Okay, when I have kids last period on a Friday, year 7s who are a bit crazy by that time of the day, and by that time of the week, this is the perfect lesson for that. All right, Number 3, experimenting with major and minor chords. Now, this works well with either kids who are quite capable and can play chords on the instrument, because that helps, or with older students, 9s, 10s, 11s, and 12s. So again, if you're talking, doing a lesson on key signatures or tonality or major, minor, scales, whatever, this is perfect for this sort of thing. So what I suggest is you pick a few keys. Now, depending on the instruments. Now, for me, again, if I was doing this at this time of year for my kids, I've already taught for year 7, so I could do it with year 7. I've taught them ukulele, guitars, and keyboards, okay? And we could chuck in some tuned percussion if you want to, and some untuned percussion. But the kids choose their instrument. And then I'll put a chord progression in a key that we like. Now, you can see there, I like for those particular instruments to use C major, A minor, G major, or E minor, because it's easy for everybody. Or you could chuck in a D major. That's actually not too bad to play either. But, E major on the ukulele, don't even go there, even though it's great on guitar. But the keyboards probably won't like it either because it's got 4 sharps. But get them to actually play a couple of chord progressions with them. All right. So, and you might change it up. So, okay, we're going to play it firstly in C major. What are the chords we're going to play? Next time we're going to play it in G major or A minor to E minor, whatever it happens to be. Over on my blog, I've got a sheet there that's actually got a stack of different chord progressions that you could use, and play them and talk about them. What did that one make us feel? Talk about them, maybe do, and you could also do this talking about harmonic rate of change, 4 beats per chord, or 8 beats per chord, or 2 beats per chord, just to get, what does that change it up. Then I'd get your kids to actually start composing and arranging a chord progression of their choosing, using the instruments they've got. I'd have at least 4 kids in a group, one on a different instrument, on a guitar, ukulele, keyboard, and some sort of percussion, probably untuned percussion, to keep them in time. And then talk about, they can choose 2 chord progressions to put together and arrange it however they want. And it's a great composition lesson. That would take a couple lessons, depending on what you want to do. Also great then to actually move that onto some sort of music software and get your kids composing there as well. So just it helps them experimenting with the different chord progressions, songwriting, all that sort of stuff. It's it's a good lesson. Number 4. Now, this one's a bit harder, but get them to compose something in their relative tonality. So it might mean that taking Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, which is in a major key, putting it in a minor key. What does it sound like? What notes do you have to change? How does that make the song feel after you've changed the tonality? Now, there's quite a few, I know I've searched for them before when I've done this sort of lesson, is actually get you changed up songs that were in a major key, now played in a minor key. And I tell you what, it really does. You can hear the difference, and getting your kids to hear the difference and how actually dark sometimes it makes the song sound. It's a really interesting way to do it. But again, get your kids to have a go at this, doing it themselves, and changing it up a bit and seeing what they can do. It's also really good to get singers out of the habit of just practicing major scales or major when they're doing warm-ups, do some in the minor, so that can just again, it increases their musical awareness and musical understanding. Last one, number 5, comparing 2 pieces of music. Now, this is my favorite thing to do. If you've been watching any of these videos for a while, you know that I love listening to some music and analyzing it. Now, you could, as I said, there's 2 songs there, Choose Joy or Joyful, Joyful, 2 different songs. Or you could compare 2 versions of the same song. Or another way to do it is, for example, like The Simpsons, they have their theme music, and then within each episode, they change that theme music up a bit to suit the scene of the music. So you could talk about how it's been changed, why it's been changed, has the tonality been changed? Great way to do it. This is perfect to extend then kids onto writing and to actually get them doing a few other things as well, in terms of their understanding. Good assessment, great assessment lesson for this one as well. Okay, so some resources to use. Firstly, over my blog, you can see that there's plenty there. And so I've got a mistake on the page there, but what is tonality in the music? There's a blog post that explains everything there. Plus, there's plenty of videos on this YouTube channel if you're watching there, or you'd probably find some over in my Facebook page as well, because all the videos are there as well. This is the tonality in music listening worksheets where the question's already there for you. So you can see on this page, listening response worksheet 1. Now, then listening response worksheet 2 is the comparison. So I always start with the 1, and then move it on to 2 to compare, then move it on to 3, which has got harder questions, and then it's a comparison after that, and then there's a few other different listening response worksheets. Now, the thing is, the differentiation. So if you've got some kids in your class that can only cope at level 1, the worksheet 1, just do that. If you've got kids that can handle the harder questions, do that. Okay, it's a good way for differentiation. They're still doing it. It's just a nice way for everybody to be participating at their own level. Plenty of resources over in my Teachers Pay Teachers store, so you can get that one I just showed you over there. If you go to Julia Teaching Resources and Teachers Pay Teachers, you'll find me really easily. If you'd like a free copy of the Elements of Music mind maps, please go to juliajulia.com/free mind maps, and you'll get yourself a set there. Or again, plenty of Elements of Music information for free over on my blog at juliajulia.com or here in this channel on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. I'll just stop share. So as I said, I've given you 5 simple ideas that you can use to teach tonality. A lot of these don't need resources except for what you've got available in your classroom. Some require a little bit more effort than others. And look, honestly, just use what you've got. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't make things harder for yourself, because that's not what these are meant to help you, give you some ideas and lesson ideas that are going to work in your classroom, because they've worked in mine. Okay, so until next time, I'm Julia from Julia Teaching Resources. Happy teaching.